So I'm sure that many people have already heard that rapper Takeoff was shot and killed. And this was during an after party, a private after party in Houston at a bowling alley. And it's been making the news in a lot of places. It's kind of a big deal.
Two others were also shot and taken to a nearby hospital.
So, as they said, Takeoff was part of the rap trio Migos with Quavo and Offset. Actually, I think Offset is his. No, Quavo I think is his uncle. Mm-hmm. But you know, I think the group recently split too. I think they were kind of starting to have some tension within the group. But Takeoff was having a nice solo career on his own.
With the chill out. Now she says she's in 3D. Wow. I go in the jungle and they got a coat. I bet I come out with a me.
So, obviously, I hate hearing this because, I hate hearing about young people, no matter what. I just hate hearing about young people just die tragically, no matter who they are, because he was 28 years old. Yeah. He had a worth of $28 million, man, and his whole life ahead of him. As somebody who's 51 years old and realizes the value of living a long, healthy life, or at least a long life, ain't nothing healthy about it. Mark's like, when has your life ever been healthy?
Well, you got a personal trainer now.
Yeah, no, I mean mentally. I want to talk about this because of the comments that I still continue to hear when someone in the hip hop community or a rapper gets shot, man. And it's mainly two things that I hear, and I can't. These are things that I hate, man. One, I hate when there is a tragic incident or some incident of violence, and the first thing people want to do is they want to blame video games, they want to blame movies, or they want to blame the music.
Right.
When there's always a bigger problem continuing that is lending itself to that incident.
Sure.
And the other thing, people out there talking about, well, what did you expect? I mean, he was a thug. And we know what that coding means with the word thug.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you something, man. Those are two things that bother me immensely. When I hear that, I really, whenever we have gun violence and some politician goes straight to video games, we should do something about these games. We should do something about these guns and how people are getting them. But nobody wants to ever do that because
walk right over the most obvious problem.
First, using their death is disrespectful, first and foremost. But then try to use them to justify your ignorance or use this somewhat as a tool to gain votes or whatever. I hate that kind of thing. There's so many hip hop artists out there who are not violent, who are not gangsters, who are definitely not thugs. And I know that some rappers even call themselves thugs, but there's something that is just like with any other kind of music. That is a section.
Yeah.
That is a subgenre. It's not defining all of hip hop. I mean, like I said, man, you have the mainstream people out there, mainstream people, and you know who they are. It's the same ones people name. But you got mainstream people out there who are not doing that. Kendrick Lamar, Drake, J. Cole, those are the people. You have a lot of others out there who are just doing different things with hip hop now, that are taking it into more artistic directions, making it playful, making it more punk. Our Future is one of those people that does that, man. And there's a lot of others on the come up. There's a lot of rappers out there that you're gonna probably see later who are doing different things with hip hop, making it more playful, making it more artsy, making it more nerdy.
Right.
You got people who are even out there taking hip hop and taking hip hop influences in a different direction and combining it with things like rock music.
I push my head underwater. Why did you vanish?
That's a guy named Gene Dawson, man, who I actually listen to every now and then. See, that's the thing. Kanye's stupid, but Kanye ain't no thug. He's ignorant as fuck.
Right.
I almost, that's the only thing I can say. He's politically conscious in the most messed up way, but at least he ain't no gangster or nothing like that. He's just dumb.
Yeah.
And mentally ill, probably. But You know, but they use, but the main thing I want to talk about is they use that word thug, man. I hate that.
Sure.
Is, you know, the first thing that people want to jump to with this, because they act like they know and really, for some people, thug is the code word for the N word.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you a little something too. I'm gonna just, educate you guys a little bit. Every time they hear about a rapper getting shot, they think that they out in the middle of the street just gang banging. They
Right.
riding around in cars, having shootouts, like this right here. Yeah, drive-bys, shooting innocent bystanders and things like that, man. First of all, you just jump into conclusions, and again, based on your own prejudices, because who are you to say what he was doing there?
Right.
People don't know what he was doing there. Actually, I'm hearing that Takeoff was one of the laid back and quiet ones. Mm-hmm. A lot of people saying that he was. Keep in mind, there were 2 other people who were shot.
Right. Right.
He was a bystander.
Yeah.
And we've had a lot of tragedies, and believe it or not, a lot of these tragic hip hop deaths, the thing that they have in common is that they weren't doing anything to anybody.
Right.
XXXtentacion, man, he was shot and killed in a robbery after he was leaving a motorcycle dealership. Nipsey Hussle, he was shot and killed outside of his clothing store. Mm-hmm. And keep in mind that he had also started a STEM program in the community.
Yeah.
For girls, man. He was doing a lot. Pop Smoke, man, it was a home invasion in the Hollywood Hills where he was killed. Young Dolph, this dude was picking up cookies for his mother when he was killed. There's a disturbing amount of violence that's going on with young black men dying, but they weren't doing anything.
Yeah.
There's a bigger problem here, but it's not because they were thugs.
Yeah.
And the latest one.
And it's a disturbing trend.
It is a disturbing trend, and there is something to say about that, but not for the reasons that people are trying to stereotype here. PNB Rock is the latest one to die in a robbery. He was shot and killed because he was at a Roscoe Chicken and Waffles, and not to blame his girl, but she was Instagramming out where they were, and they found out where he was. And he had on some ice and whatnot, and people found him, and
they want to
rip him
rob
off.
Him. Yeah.
Yeah, they want to rob him, man. It's easy to say, they're all of them are violent, or they find themselves in violent situations, or somehow, some way, they surround themselves with unsavory conditions that contributes to their death. But that is a broad statement, and that's a big assumption, and I don't think that's fair to do that, man. And I don't have the answers. I could say some of these things that are problems, but I don't have the answers, man. Again, I would like to hear what other people have to say. I'm just putting ideas out there. But I don't think it's just as simple as to say rappers are inherently, by nature, violent people.
Sure.